I grew up there until I was about 12 years old. I'd go out every once in a while and help my dad out, and I really didn't do too much as a young kid, but except just go out and kind of hang around and get the gist of things. But after a while, when I got a little bit older, I went and helped a couple times, but nothing too exciting. But I grew up on a farm and had some fun while I was at it. Well, we were hauling potatoes and we were setting up, and I was helping set up and I wasn't paying attention, and I had my hand while we were loading some equipment. It was just sitting there while we were pushing it, and ended up I wasn't paying attention, and one of the gears rolled right over top of my finger, and so I lost a little bit of the end of my finger when I wasn't really paying attention, and that was the end of farming for that day for me. If I even just had all 5 of my fingers there, then I would have probably lost all 5 of them, but I just lost the one on the end that just simply wasn't paying attention. I just went out there and was trying to be helpful, and lost my concentration for a second, and lost the end of my finger. Oh, a split second, and anything can happen when you're not paying attention. I don't know too many guys that can play in the NHL with 9 fingers, so I got about 9 3/4, luckily, and I'm thankful that it was only that much. It was really, I was about 14 years old, 15, and I just went out, and these guys were pushing this big equipment, and I was like, oh, I can go help. And when they really didn't need my help, I was just trying to go out there and prove to my dad that I could do something. And I guess, if I would have went and either stayed and waited for someone to tell me what to do instead of just hopping into something I didn't know I was doing, it would have definitely prevented it. And it's good to help out, but you need to get help when you're asked to help, or do your job knowing what you're doing. And I didn't know what I was doing when I went in and did it. And luckily, I am still here with my one finger that's hurt, and I can still play hockey. No, he pretty much just hopped in the truck and drove me to the hospital, and got my finger kind of stitched back together, and missed about a week of hockey practice. But no, he drove me in, and then after that, he just told me to make sure when I come out on the farm that I know what I'm doing, and if he needs my help or whatever I'm going to do, he's going to tell me what to do and do it, and teach me how to. Well, before every game, we get there about 2.5 hours before. Stretch, warm up, and check your skates and check your equipment, make sure everything's all set up. And you got to stretch. You got to make sure that you're all warmed up so that you have your, you're not going out and you're pulling a groin or hurting a hamstring or something like that. So you always got to be ready, and you got to be really conscious of, I guess you got to say mentally towards the game itself. You can't just go out there and not think about anything, otherwise you could get hurt. And so basically just making sure that you're warmed up and prepared, and knowing what you're about to do on the ice. For me, I always loved playing other sports in the summertime. I loved to go and water ski or go tubing and play tennis or something like that. I'm not allowed to do those things anymore, but definitely when I'm going out, say one night and maybe play a little softball or something, I'm really conscious of what I'm doing and knowing what I'm doing, and you don't want to compromise your ability to play hockey just to go out and have fun. So I'm always being aware, or like you said, driving safe, or if I'm out late night, and make sure I come home I'm safe, or taking a taxi if I can't drive and stuff like that. If you're about to go farming, say you're driving the tandem or you're driving the truck, and you're up really late, about 3, 4 in the morning, and you can't drive because you're tired, but you go to work the next morning at 6 in the morning. That's definitely not something that you want to be doing when you're running on a little bit of sleep and you're about to go work. So you got to make sure that you're always aware of what you're about to do before you do it, even if it is a job. Definitely for me, if I'm out late and I have to be at practice in the morning, I'm going home as quick as I can to get some sleep. And then if you're on the farm and you're doing something and you end up not going to bed till later on, and then you got to drive in the morning, you got to make sure that you either tell the person that you were working for that you were up late and probably can't drive, and maybe he'll give you a different job, something that involves a little less staying awake or something like that. I guess the biggest thing is, like I said, is before you do something, make sure you think it out and make sure you go through the steps and you know what you're doing before you do it. You never want to just jump into something that you don't know what you're doing, and if you're not prepared or conscious of what you're doing, that's when you get seriously hurt in any sport or any job. Working on the farm, if you're not ready to go to work and you're just kind of lackadaisical, that's when something bad can happen. And then same thing goes for hockey. If I'm not ready to play and I'm kind of relaxed, I can get hurt at any time too. So you just make sure that you're always ready and conscious of what you're doing every time you go to work or go to play sport.